Future of this country, of our children. We can be a great nation. And the first step is desist from being violent. Let's have a peaceful elections.
Hello and welcome to PTV Today. My name is Pollum David. The Senate President Bukola Saraki says his presidential aspiration is driven by an obsession for justice, fairness and respect for the rule of law. Saraki disclosed this on Monday in Makurdi. Saraki's visit was to solicit support for his presidential aspiration ahead of the 2019 general elections. He claimed that it was the turn of the North Central geopolitical zone to produce the nation's president, declaring that he was ready to provide quality leadership. The presidency says President Muhammadu Buhari is neither in confrontation with the parliament over his refusal to sign the amended Electoral Act bill nor against the use of card readers in the forthcoming elections. The president's senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, said in a statement in Abuja on Sunday that the president's decision to decline assent to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2018 had nothing to do with the use of card readers. Shehu therefore dismissed the allegations of opposition politicians as well as some newspaper editorial opinions, creating the impression that the president was against e-voting and the use of card readers in the 2019 elections. The presidential aide expressed the readiness of Buhari to sign the Electoral Act after effecting all the necessary corrections, adding that President Muhammadu Buhari had asked his officials to dialogue with the legislature for the corrections to be effected. Petty traders are not required to tender their permanent voter card before benefiting from the Trader Money Scheme, the presidency had said. Senior Special Assistants to the President of Media and Publicity, Laolu Akande, Office of the Vice President, made this clarification on Sunday in Abuja. Akande, who gave an update on the microcredit scheme, explained that to qualify for the Trade Money Scheme, no documentation of any kind was required. He spoke against the backdrop of claims about PVC was a requirement for the loans. The spokesman said that President Muhammadu Buhari's administration would intensify its efforts to empower more Nigerians economically as it continues to inaugurate the Trader Money 10,000 naira collateral-free loans to petty traders across the country. The Federation of Muslim Women Association in Nigeria is convinced that poor family values is at the root of many vices in the country. This, according to the group, is clear from the corrupt practices and other family vices in the society. The Women Muslim Group made its position known at the press conference in Benin City ahead of its national conference. Our Edo State correspondent Kisli Iben has more in this report presented from our studios.
This is the 33rd annual conference of the Federation of Muslim Women's Associations in Nigeria, and Edo State is the host of the 4-day event. The focus of this year's conference is family life in Islam, issues and challenges in a dynamic society. And this, the organizer says, is because of the importance of family in all spheres of national life. Someone believes that corruption could be checked from the family setup.
people who have values. Once again, that shows a strong disconnect between the family, its values, and the nation.
Governor Godwin Obaseki was represented by his deputy, Philip Shaibu, at the event.
The teams of the conference very apt. In a situation that the issue of morals has become an issue. Correcting these moral issues is the family. And that's why the theme for this family life is very apt and it is coming at the right time. Government is not the president of Nigeria. Government is not the governor of the state. Government is you and I. And it is not to contribute to a quota that little quota that will make our country, our states great.
The guest speaker outlined what he considered as the root causes of issues that are known to erode family values.
Most of our parents, we do not bother about this cardinal principle. We do not bother. All we think about are material things. I know that in marriage, you have two aspects, the material and the spiritual. But the material should never take precedence over spirituality. It is not just the coming together that is out of the game. No. The idea is that in your coming together, you would have taken into consideration the parameters enunciated by the Prophet Islam in order to have a successful marriage.
Some women use the platform to urge parents to pay more attention to the upbringing of their children.
If you look at all these children going out, you'll find that some of them have been sent out. I've been dealing with some of them. I set up a shelter recently for the female detainees from Libya and wherever else they go. To keep them there, nurture them. I've arranged academies, developed academies with some successful young women like myself who have come in there, becoming, for instance, I have an academy with the lady mechanic. I'm sure you heard about the lady mechanic.
A Muslim is naturally endowed with positive values as a follower of a true and upright religion. And most of these values are imbibed into him from his early childhood and early formative years. So he grows up naturally with these values, which help to mold him into a pious, responsible, dedicated, industrious, honest, and contented young personality.
The high point of the event was the unveiling of the magazine, while awards were presented to deserving members.
And out in Nasarawa State, where many residents in Lafia have been feared dead as a petrol station explodes in the capital of the state. A member of the Nasarawa State Fire Service who confirmed the incident to newsmen confirmed that the fire had been brought under control. The station caught fire as workers offloaded gas at the plant, shops and houses were also burnt. The fire, which swiftly spread to the other side of the road, was said to have also caught passerbys as they scrambled for safety. The Nigerian Air Force have destroyed some facilities belonging to the Boko Haram terrorists at Boroko Meram and Subun Alura on the fringes of Lake Chad in Borno. This was contained in a statement signed by the NAF Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commando Ibukile Daramola. Daramola said the operation was carried out on Sunday and several insurgents were neutralized. He said the attack at Boroko Meram was conducted based on credible human intelligence reports, indicating the presence of some insurgents along with their equipment within the settlement. The trial of former governor of Abia State, Orji Uzor Kalu, over an alleged 3.2 billion naira fraud has again been stalled at the Federal High Court in Lagos due to medical tourism. Kalu, a former Abia Commissioner for Finance, Ude Udogo, as well as Kalu's company, Slok Nigeria Limited, were charged by the EFCC for alleged fraud. The presidency has frowned on what it described as improbable and outlandish publication by the National Daily on Sunday alleging corruption against the Chief of Staff to the President, Malam Abba Kyari. The publication alleged that Kyari collected 29 million naira bribe from a contractor. Garba Shehu, the President's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, condemned the publication in a statement in Abuja on Saturday. Shehu explained that Kyari did not have any private meetings with the persons making those allegations. The presidential spokesman also noted that the supply of 15 Hilux vehicles for the presidency was an unlikely contract to have been awarded, as it did not exist anywhere in the 2016 and 2017 budgets. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has called for urgent and strengthening interventions following more reported cases and deaths of the recent cholera outbreak in Borno. The call was made in the Northeast flash update on the cholera outbreak by the UN OCHA and was made available to newsmen on Sunday in Abuja. According to reports, a total of 680 cases of suspected cholera have been recorded in 8 local government areas, including 18 deaths as at September 7th. This was against the 380 cases and 14 deaths that were earlier recorded by the Borno State Ministry of Health as at September 5th. This report explained that the figure represents a fatality rate of 2.6%. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, in the Southeast Zone has begun to reposition itself to ensure improved disaster management. Whilst in Ibarekumo, the coordinator of NEMA in Enugu Zonal Office said this at a workshop organized for all the staff of the agency in Anambra. Ibarekumo said that there was a need to acquaint the agency's personnel with the modern response strategies which the new management had introduced. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, said it has rescued more than 13,000 victims from human traffickers. The Director General of NAPTIP, Oka Donli, made a disclosure at an interactive session in Sokoto. She said over 6,000 victims have been rehabilitated since 2014. The Director General also said that her visit to Sokoto Zonal Office of the agency was part of a working visit to the 6 geopolitical zones to boost the morale of the staff. You're on PTV today. We shall be going on a short break. Foreign and sports news when we return. To stay.
People's Television Nigeria has gone mobile. You can now watch PTV Nigeria on the go anywhere in the world. For real-time notifications, just go to Google Play Store if you're on Android or Apple Store if you're on iOS. Search for PTV Nigeria. Download. It's free. It's easy. And now you can catch up with the latest news analysis and political discourse on the go. So stay connected with PTV, Nigeria's #1 online TV.
Soldiers helping Nigerian soldiers fight Boko Haram.
We will have to persuade Nigerian legislatures.
This is coming together of people who are confused.
Executive order should comply with the law.
I personally dissociate myself completely. Personally.
From this interview, because you have said
there had hardly been any administration.
No religious body in Nigeria validate the claims by the INEC chairman. It is.
Several armed men attacked the headquarters of the National Oil Corporation in the Libyan capital on Monday, and blasts were heard before wounded people were ferried away from the building with ambulances. The attack came less than a week after a fragile truce suspended fierce clashes between rival armed groups in Tripoli, the latest eruption of violence in Libya, which has been in turmoil since the 2011 upspring. No group immediately claimed responsibility for Monday's attack. Militants loyal to Islamic State have previously carried out attacks in Tripoli and other Libyan towns and cities. Sudan's President Omar al-Bashir has dissolved the government, saying he needed to tackle the crisis-hit economy. The number of ministries is to be reduced from 31 to 21. President Bashir said his intervention was necessary to solve the state of distress and frustration faced by the country. There have been protests since January when the price of bread doubled after the government eliminated subsidies. The Sudanese currency was devalued, making it harder to buy foreign wheat and other produce. Analysts say Sudan's economy has been struggling ever since South Sudan broke away in 2011, taking 3/4 of its oil resources. Reports from Somalia capital Mogadishu said a car packed with explosives have destroyed the local government building. Casualties. Now witness saw huge clouds of smoke above the city in Hordan district following a massive explosion and gunfire. One report says 5 people have been killed and a number of people injured. It however not known who is behind the attack. The Islamic militant group Al-Shabaab carries out frequent bombings and gun attacks in Mogadishu and other parts of Somalia. Saudi Arabian authorities have detained an Egyptian hotel worker who appeared in an online video eating breakfast with female Saudi Arabia colleague, who said the Labour Ministry, and also summoned the hotel owner for questioning. The world's top oil exporter is pushing a host of economic and social reforms, including ending a ban on women driving and opening up new sectors for women in a bid to end dependency on crude revenues. But some conservative traditions have not been as quick to change in the deeply religious Muslim kingdom. In a footage shared widely on social media, the pair ate breakfast at a desk and waved at the camera. At one point, the woman, wearing a traditional black robe covering all but her hands and eyes, feeds the man with a piece of food. And out to Ethiopia, where a powerful leader of once banned Ethiopian rebel group has vowed to work very closely with the government following his return home after more than a decade in exile. Berhanu Nega, who was greeted by large crowds in Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, is seen as the most significant opposition figure to go back to Ethiopia since Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed took office in April, introducing sweeping political reforms. Berhanu, the leader of Gimbot 7, was sentenced to death in absentia in 2009 for plotting to kill government officials. And that's it on PTV today. Many thanks for watching. My name is Pollum David. To stay on PTV.
El Clasico, I tell you, like 3 points is clear.
Yes.
Eh? They go watch match.
Okay, what do you want me to do about it?
Give us light.
That's the only thing you've been saying since you came into my office.
Maybe your work be that.
No, it's my work, but see.
Our government fit do their work if we sef do our own work. No just sit down. Carry wetin dey worry you, go meet who suppose solve am.
Hello viewers, welcome to this edition of the Darling Program Banking and You. I'm your regular host, Jerry Ojono.
One of the reasons for the crowd in the banking hall have to do with the bulk of people who use the ATM.
One of the banks happened to be one of our very old banks. Okay, they were doing that. They've been doing that for quite a while. You know, the level of education usually cannot compare to education for those with current accounts. Yeah. Okay, so when you have education.
Hello viewers, welcome to this edition of the Darling Program Banking and You. I'm your regular host, Jerry Ojono, and with me today
Gratitude is my attitude. Giving is in my character. The more you give, the happier you are.
See, if we not talk, nothing will change. See, don't look government. Inna the rain again. Start or join group to solve problems for your community.
Sunana Yakubu, amma an fi sani na da Yaks. Abu mafi mahimmanci shine har yanzu muna zaune da ƙwayar cutar polio a ƙasar mu. Wasu sun san digon rigakafin polio, wato digo biyu da ake bada na baki. Wasu kuma ba su san da haka ba. Wasu suna tunanin wannan digo guda biyu sau ɗaya kawai ya wadatar. Shin digo biyu ya wadatar? Bari mu bincika. Yaya aiki?
Lafiya kalau.
Digon mai guda biyu kawai zai isa soya kosai?
Ba zai isa ba.
To, ta ce ba zai isa ba. Ina zuwa. Na gode. Shin za ki amfani da digon nono guda biyu kawai ki dama fura?
A'a, ba zai yiwu ba gaskiya. Saboda nonon ne yake taimakawa wurin dama furan.
Na gode. Tambaya nake, shin digon ruwa biyu kawai zai isa hada shayi?
Ai ba zai yiwu a hada ruwa da shayi da digon ruwa biyu ba. Dalili kuwa ai ba zai isa mutum ba. Dole sai ya kai kaman kofi daya.
Barka da.
Barka gare.
Da Allah tambaya nake so yi.
Allah ya sa na sani.
Shin digon man fetur guda biyu, digon man fetur guda biyu zai isa ya sa wannan mashin aiki?
A'a, ba zai sa shi aiki ba gaskiya.
Dalili fa?
Saboda ai bai wadace shi ba.
Haba.
Kwarai da gaske.
To nan ina zaka?
Dan je nan bayani.
Da Allah bari bi ka. Allah bai na wani.
Lafiya Allah.
Kwayan gishiri biyu kadai. Shin zai isa ya sa naman nan daɗi?
A gaskiya ba zai isa ya sa naman nan daɗi ba. Sai an ɗan sa gishirin da yawa tukuna, sannan a haɗa, sannan ya garwaye naman har ya yi daɗi.
Na gode. Kuma yadda muka je, digo biyu kawai bai sa ya wadatar da wani abu mai ma'ana ba. Haka ma digon rigakafin polio, dole ne yaro ko yarinya su samu digo biyu akai-akai na rigakafin polio. Wannan digo biyu akai-akai shi zai wadatar wajen kare yaro ko yarinya daga kamuwa da cutar koko kowace irin cutar polio.
Plastic bags. I'll say every day.
Plastic bag. Wow. I might say every day.
There is nothing I make use of in my shop past leather. I dey use about 2 packages of leather every day.
Packing several things, clothes. It could be clothes at times. It could just be maybe items from the market, as in when you buy foodstuffs. Even packing other plastic bottles too. And virtually anything that needs to be packed, most of the times we use plastic bags for them.
Or if I'm going to somewhere like the market or a shop or something, I'll definitely have to use a plastic bag.
For me, my business revolves around that. You can imagine coming to buy a pair of shoes and I'll just give you in your hands. What will happen? Will I ask you to put it in your handbag? No, I can't do without it. And then what if I come to the market and I want to buy tomato or whatever? What happens? Where will I put my stuff?
Leather, they help my business in many ways because of many customers, they cannot buy your market without leather now. They may not be, it will not be portable for them to carry it to their home. So there is portability being using leather in terms of putting the materials, that putting the goods that you have sold to the customers, so that it will be easy to carry to the car for them.
Because I need it for everything. I need it for my waste bin, I need to pack some things, I need it for everything.
I'm a fashion designer. Most times if my clients want to see me, I go with my bags because when I come here, I always come with clothes. That's the reason I'm using it.
Well, it depends on the quality of the plastic bag and the size. For instance, if it's like the big polythene bags, we recycle. We could still use it to maybe pack clothes later. We could still use it at home for maybe pack refuse before we dispose of it. But if it's the smaller ones that maybe you used to carry, like something like fish, or things that will still leave stain or smells in it, we dispose of it immediately.
So if it's perishable things, I'll definitely throw it. But if it's like about clothes, we usually keep it in a basket in my house, so we can use it for other things. Yes.
I don't know, but I think a long while.
Oh, this question, Oga. The question is too big. Leather can take, to me, maybe 1 year. It will decompose within a year.
Like a month? I don't know. Like a month.
My God, I'm sure it takes long, because I think those are the things that you usually see that last a very long time inside all of the refuse dump and all those things. Most times when you go to pack stuff from a refuse dump, some other things might have decomposed over time, but of course the plastic bags would just be there sticking out. So I'm sure it takes a long time.
I have no idea.
I guess for my little age, or for my little staying in this earth, I've never come across that one. Plastic bag, it don't decay easily. I've never seen it.
Well, how long it decomposes? How long? Because okay, well, at least from my own little knowledge of plastic, I know it's not biodegradable, so I know it takes a long time. Maybe I say 50 years thereabouts for it to actually decompose, because of the kind of material it's made out of. So, but I'm not sure about. But I know it's a very long time actually.
Wow. A month? Or a year. It depends. A year.
That's impossible. Hi. That's impossible. No.
I cannot agree. It takes 150 years to decompose in the soil. So I may believe it since I don't have any knowledge on it.
You don't say. Then we should reconsider, really.
I'm just hearing it for the first time.
For a nylon bag to decompose after 100 and something years, I don't know. Maybe only a scientist can tell that, not me.
That's a lot of pollution for the ecosystem, actually, because since it doesn't decompose on its own. Definitely, even in because okay, well, I dispose of it through waste bin and all that, but a lot of people just throw it in the gutters. So at least I know that will definitely clog up the drainages, and even for, well, in fact, even to try to like quantify the amount of damage. Well, I really can't quantify, but I know it's a lot. It's a lot of damage to the ecosystem.
It causes erosion. I think that's which I've come across before, erosion, during rainy season. When you drop it, like when you keep them anyhow, like in a dustbin, and it rain, can easily cause erosion.
Well, I'm not really sure of like exact effects, but I shall know that every single thing in this world has its side effects. It has, even this microphone might have its own side effects. So I'm not really sure, but I'm very sure it does. It has side effects.
Plastic bag? No, I don't think so. It's not possible, honestly.
No. No, I can't.
I don't know how it's going to look like, but I don't think I can stay without that plastic bag. Because if I did not, then my client, they will insult me there in our shoe. They will cost my life. So I don't think I can stay without using plastic bag. That's true.
On topical issues, as always, Nigeria right now. Come along.
Gaskiya wuta noma.
As it relates to their relationship. So that's it. This is Nigeria right now. Hello. Action. Yes, this is Nigeria right now with Dixon Irebu, and of course we're at Honorable Tony Nwolo's place. Tony Nwolo is the sponsor of the Not Too Young to Run bill. Honorable, thank you for having us. Thank you. You are very important to us right now. This is Honorable Tony Nwolo. Tony Nwolo is the sponsor of the Not Too Young to Run bill. Honorable,
thank you.
How did you manage to think out, or even to convince yourself about sponsoring the Not Too Young to Run bill? Because the president in his democracy address talked about to sign that bill. That became an issue, and that's why we're here in your place.
Yeah, it was born out of the genuine passion to have the young people occupy our political space. There's been a great injustice done to the young people of this country. I feel we get to play in most other spheres, but you hardly see any of us, just few of us in the political space. So, and you know, if you think about the fact that most of the old people we have today all started when they were very young, and they've remained there.
Yeah,
I think that heightens the injustice.
But when they started, right, there was no law that enabled their emergence in the political space. So how did we need a law to get the young people in the political space?
The question you should ask is, why was there a law in the first place that should limit people from participating or being? If we agree in the Constitution, the drafters of the Constitution deemed it right that at 18 you're eligible to vote. Why didn't they also allow 18 to be voted for?
So, but in this bill, is 18 eligible to be voted for?
No, in this bill, 18 is not eligible, but we've reduced that, and we hope, it's my desire that somehow the next assembly will continue to improve upon this until we get it to that which is obtainable in most other climes. We're not saying that we're hoping to see an 18-year-old occupy the position.
But to leave the space
But
for
in
anybody
that space,
to
why would you want
aspire?
Good. Why would, what in their own thinking made them limit or set the limit they did?
But that will also be queried in the future when they come with, let's allow 18, since 18 is eligible to vote. Someone will also ask, what were they thinking? You know, even limiting.
How old was Gowon and Co?
Gowon was
even
29.
Even in the military when they started. So why is it that in the civilian, the democratic setting, you now have the age being applied? How old was Obasanjo? How old was T.Y. Danjuma?
How old was Ojukwu when he took us to war?
That is exactly my point. So why is it that when it got to democracy, the drafters
limiting the
why do we have that? If not just an outright injustice to the young people of this country.
But I was also wondering that the president would have just announced on Democracy Day that congratulations, Nigerians, especially the young people, that the bill, you know, the Not Too Young to Run bill, have assented to it. But this one is still another promise, and you're a member of the APC.
No, I'm a member of the PDP.
Oh, you're a member of the PDP?
Yes.
I asked because I thought it would have been a good gift for Democracy Day.
It's not bad. It's not late yet. If Mr. President has announced that in the next couple of days he's going to sign the bill, it's good enough. If days run into weeks,
and weeks run into months,
then you begin to ask, why didn't you keep to your promise? But if Mr. President has simply said, in a matter of days could be tomorrow, days could be next tomorrow.
True.
Days could be Saturday. We still have this week.
And days could be after May 2019.
No, I don't see that. I don't think that's what Mr. President meant when he said so. I would want us to, first and foremost, I want to commend Mr. President for that bold step. At the same time that I've commended the respective state assemblies that assented to the bill and the National Assembly itself for the support. This bill wouldn't have seen the light of the day without the National Assembly supporting it. The leadership of the both chambers stood by this bill. It made this bill break a record. It became the first bill that was hastily, it was the fastest to go through the second reading. In the history of the National Assembly.
But I'm also wondering, you're young, and how did you get to the political space? Because lots of young people do not care about politics. So with this bill right now, how will that...
Would I really agree with you that most young people don't care? I think they do. The problem is sometimes mentoring. Some young people they also need some form of direction, which is not a wrong thing. If from different formations, the churches, the mosques, our social gatherings, we begin to let people understand the need for them to participate actively in politics, because that lies the decision that would affect their future. You know, I think we have a vibrant young generation that are upwardly mobile, and all you need is just that thing, and they will key into it, and that's what we've seen with the Not Too Young to Run. Many young people have keyed in from different, funny enough, young Nigerians in different states persuaded their assemblies to ensure that this is passed. Most of them held rallies in many states.
Will you say the Not Too Young to Run bill, inspired the avalanche of young aspirants for presidential position in the 2019?
It did. And the funny thing about it is that even the older politicians are now telling you that they are also not too young to run. Or they are telling you that they are not too young to run compliant. No,
not too young to run compliant.
Because I've seen in some posters that are coming out of. Yes. We're not trying to remove them from power. All what we're trying to do is also to let them understand that yes,
there should be room.
There should be space. Let that space be there for the younger generation. And let's begin to have that generational bridge where you can transfer some knowledge, wisdom of what you've acquired over the years to the younger people so that we don't have a lacuna at the end of the day.
Going by our own climate, going by the Nigerian environment, will you say it will be right for a young person to be president of Nigeria in 2019?
Why wouldn't it be right?
You know, I ask because
if you ask
what experience are these young people? What experience
did Obasanjo bring to power when he
was a military man?
Yes, and then what makes military different from civilian?
They came through the barriers of the gun.
They came through the barriers of the gun. We're talking about leadership now, not how you came.
Yes. Okay.
So we're not talking about how you came.
Okay.
If you come through voting,
yes,
and as a young person, you have responsibility. It's saddled upon you. Before I got to National Assembly, I didn't go for any formal training on how to be a lawmaker.
I'm also wondering how you made it from Lagos. You're not from Lagos State. You made it from. You are representing the Solo
Federal Constituency.
Yes.
And
you're from Imo State.
Yes. Constitutionally, you are allowed to.
I know constitutionally, but I'm just wondering how you were able to find your way around all that had to do with the discrimination and all
the vibrancy of the young people. You know, a young man can do a whole lot of things. You go out there, venture, and then put the rest in God. Do your own part. That's the most important thing I always tell people. God would always lead and direct those that call upon Him. You know why you want to get into a leadership position. You know, because if you see it as power, then that is what you're seeing it as. For me, I choose to see any office as a call to leadership.
Okay. Well, we'll come back. This is Nigeria Right Now with Dickson Iregbu. And of course, we have a young Nigerian, the sponsor of the Not Too Young to Run bill, Honorable Tony Nwolu. It's been engaging, and I'm sure that lots of young people out there are listening right now and probably dusting up whatever they should to join politics. If he could do it, why not? We'll be right back. Nigeria Right Now, poised to engender patriotism.
I ask my colleagues, my friends, that I endorse this program, and I want them to continue to patronize this program so that people out there would know exactly what is happening to Nigeria right now.
I advise Nigerians all over to watch Nigeria Right Now.
Well done, and keep up the good work. You're welcome back. This is still Nigeria Right Now with Dickson Iregbu, and we have the sponsor of the Not Too Young to Run bill, Honorable Tony Nwolu. He's been our guest, and we are reading out some of those areas that has to do with young people getting involved in politics and why we should, in fact, get involved. Honorable, I heard that you're aspiring higher. Is that true?
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. So this power thing, therefore, once you test it, you want to keep going?
No.
You're going for governorship ahead?
No, not when you test power, like I told you earlier. It's a call to leadership.
Who does this call? Is it the people?
No. Sometimes the people, like in my own case.
Yeah.
I was far away in Harvard when young people organized themselves across the 27 local governments. They came out in their thousands, in their droves. I was touched.
That's Imo now,
in
not
Imo
Lagos.
State. Imo State.
Yes.
You know, they came out, organized themselves. I can ask you to do your independent inquiry and investigation. The people that came out, I've never met any of them before. Not one. Not one of the individuals have I met.
They come out in thousands.
They came out in thousands. I was in Harvard when the pictures broke out.
Asking that what?
That I should return home and run for governorship in the States. I think the Not Too Young to Run thing also played a role and all that. You know, that's my own thinking, actually, because I started, you know, why the whole thing? I know there had been talks here and there, Tony, come and run for governorship, but you know, the fact that the young people, why am I most touched about this? This demography are the most affected, the unemployed, several things go on there that is wrong about the young Nigerians. A lot of them live in despair. Totally, they don't know what tomorrow seems to hold for them. So, and coming from a state like mine in Imo State, where everything has been awesome.
That's my state too. So.
Yeah, you know, so Imo State is not a state where you're called to come and run for governorship and you clap and dance through.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when somebody calls you, they understand the enormous job or task ahead. They know that the state needs to be salvaged. They know that the state is at the brink of collapse. You understand? It's a state that is sinking deep.
But Honorable, you see, I'm wondering, why haven't we heard someone like you say something about
the administration?
Yeah, the kind of leadership that we have in the state.
It is very convenient for most politicians to do so.
So
run down people. No, I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Even when you are in the opposition?
When I'm in the opposition, I believe that there are two things that would always happen to every person that finds himself in a position of leadership. One is that posterity will judge you when you're done. Two is that the electorates would have their votes to decide during the next poll. Those are the two things you can do. Other than that, the other constitutional things is if you think the person has committed impeachable offenses, then the State Assembly will do their job.
So when in the opposition, you couldn't engage, you couldn't make the government in power to realize that people are watching.
But obviously,
because he got to a state where it was like a shameful thing to come from Imo State.
Obviously, you know we have leaders that lead with impunity. We have rulers, not leaders. We have people that are power drunk. We have persons in power that appear to suffer from some hearing impairment.
Is that the way you would describe the current leadership in Imo State?
The current leadership in Imo State is, the only way I would describe it is something I told you. After he leaves office, posterity will judge you.
No, describe for me. You're from Imo State.
Yeah.
Are you appalled in any way by the state of things in your state?
Who shouldn't be?
If you are, what is the state? How will you describe the current leadership in Imo State? In your own words.
You know, I have seen people use clueless. I don't want to say clueless.
It's already said already.
Would I say rudderless? No. I think everything you're asking me is already out there in the public. In a state where pensioners are not paid, civil servants are not paid, infrastructure is decaying. Those that you inherited has decayed under you. And let me tell you one truth. When you talk about administration, like I said earlier, it is very convenient for any other person, most politicians, to sit down, take a swipe at to curry public sentiments. I am not that kind of politician. I am not focusing on what the current administration has done right or wrong. I am not going to go after him as an individual. If you strengthen the institutions will do their job. I don't think it's about going after people like most people do. Let me get to office and then I'll jail you. It is not you. You're not the state. We begin to understand that, yes, you're leading, but strengthening the institutions, the capacity to be able to even proactively stop most of the things. The governor is just one person. Let's not forget that. Away from the governor, you have the commissioners that should do their jobs.
The commissioners are not elected. The governor is one
of the commissioners are appointed.
Yes.
Are they doing their jobs?
If they are not doing their jobs, somebody should take responsibility.
You have the state assembly.
Yes.
That should be there to check the governor. What are they doing? What are they doing? So if you allow, if the institutions that are supposed to function, that are supposed to perform the oversight on the executive, not do what they are meant to do, then you have a total collapse of the system.
Okay, let's bring this.
Now you have a man that believes that he can call the whole shot because probably a whole lot of people are compromised. That is the truth about it.
Compromised. What is it that would be termed being compromised in politics?
Well, when we talk about compromise, it means when you leave what you're supposed to do at the state assembly to come begging for crumbs from the governor's table. Then you forget you let off what makes you an independent arm of government.
Does this also apply to the center?
It applies everywhere.
So how well is the House of Reps, where you're a member, how well have they been able to do
You must have seen that at the federal level,
yes,
right from the beginning of this section,
yes,
there has been no love lost between the executive and the legislative.
Yes, so Nigerians will say, yes, we've seen conflict, all right, but not headed to anywhere. Because after the conflict, we see you end up probably having a closed-door meeting with the executive, and you come out all smiling.
Also realize that
yes,
it is a process of resolution. You cannot be in conflict in perpetuity. Conflicts would always come, even in war.
Yes,
there's always room for resolution, and resolution can only come true when you dialogue. So we're not. You can't. It's democracy.
So the executive arm and the legislative arm are not at war.
The closed room sections happen everywhere, in every democratic life, in the United States, everywhere where there are issues of conflict. It is established that this is an issue of conflict, and then you go into closed door negotiations on how to resolve.
Okay, Honorable, your party, the People's Democratic Party, right? What happened? Everybody seemed to be like there's no strong opposition against the ruling party.
I don't agree with you when you say there is no strong opposition within the ruling party.
The school of thought will say PDP is mostly reactionary in its approach, not setting the pace, unlike when the APC was in the opposition. They were setting the agenda, engaging, and so much so that they got power from.
I think
is your party ready to come back to power?
I think I have seen maturity on the part of PDP too, which you will not take away. You see, someone can be cantankerous. Yes. It doesn't mean you're making any sense. You know, yes, APC got into power making so much noise. Power has been given to them. How well have they managed it?
How well have they managed it?
That's exactly what Nigerians now would have to judge. You know, it's not enough for someone to make noise. I want this cup, I want this cup. I want this cup. If I get this cup, I will perform magic, I will do this, I will do that with this cup. Okay, fine. You've told Nigerians, cried and wailed, you wanted this cup. Nigerians have handed you over this cup.
Do what you want to do.
It is not left for Nigerians to make their choice. Like I keep saying, at the end of the day, the ultimate decision lies with the electorate. It is not just enough for anybody to turn around and condemn the government in power or anybody or any politician in power. The question is, how well have you done when you were supposed to vote? Most times I also take this back to the electorate. Any politician that comes out to bribe you, to give you money to vote for him, any politician that you see spending hundreds of millions to get into office, if you have a way of taking money, take from the man and run away from him. Don't vote him into power. Because most of them believe they have, for any young person, that they give 10,000 naira, 50, 100, 1 million to perpetrate violence and all the electoral malpractices that they do. They have also paid you for your unemployment.
Already ahead.
Ahead of time. They have also paid you for poor medical infrastructure as a facility. They've actually paid you for, they've mortgaged you into slavery. And they've paid not just you, but your family members. Because when you have a family member that is sick, I know how many people within the last couple of months that died in Imo State simply because they were rushed to the hospital and there was no oxygen in the government hospital.
Hold on to your thoughts. It's getting there, and we will get to that stage where the Honorable will unveil his dream and ambition, and indeed his plans for Imo people. We'll be right back. So you're saying that bottom approach to governance is what you want to do?
Transparency and prudency. Allow them, let the people know what is being allocated to the local government, what they are getting at the end of the day, so that you know you're close to your people. One, you're through the process of the election. Through election, not fixing your cronies hold Tony Mulu on that. I would not. You're catching me on tape on this. I would not. And one of the things I promised them is that 2 months into my administration, elections will be held.
Into the local government offices?
Elections will be held. Free, fair, credible elections. Monitored by people. Let the people choose who they want. It does not matter which party.
Honorable Tony, let's bring you back to the national scene before we round up. 2019. Who's your candidate for president?
Oh, wow. I don't think
oh, you want the present administration to continue?
I don't think it's time for that yet.
Do you want to give another opportunity to this government?
You know the problem we have. You know the problem we have also.
Yeah.
With this question you just asked me, is that in Nigeria, 80% of the time we're practicing, up to 80% of the time we're practicing chimpanzee politics.
What is this chimpanzee politics?
Good. Chimpanzee politics is that politics. You know, in the chimpanzee kingdom, all they do is politics 70% of the time.
Really?
Yes, go and read up. What they keep plotting is how to maneuver, how to defeat, how to dethrone. They are territorial fighters. So 70% of the time, they are negotiating power. That is what happens. You can go.
So what's going on now? Is power being negotiated?
That is the chimpanzee politics. 70% of what is going on among politicians is chimpanzee politics. Then 30% leadership. But Nigeria will move forward when we do 70% leadership, 30% politics.
Chimpanzee. All right. Nigeria will move forward when we do 70% leadership and 30% chimpanzee politics. That's from Honorable Tony Nwolo. Of course, you've heard that he is going for governorship in Imo State. He's reeled out a bit of what he has. That is his mission, going to Imo State. That's Douglas House, isn't it? And then he's also talked about what should be held, you know, how he should be held on some of these things he said here. On arrival, 2 months into office, he'll be conducting the local government and councillorship elections and all of that, saying that bottom approach to governance, that is taking leadership or governance to the people, is his mission in Imo State. He's also talked about how that he wants to leave certain steps, footprints behind for young people to follow. That money politics is not the only way out, but that you should think about those leadership qualities that will make you have social capital with which to negotiate power. And that's Nigeria right now for today. I hope you've picked a few of things from the Honorable who sponsored the Not Too Young to Run bill. That's a very important bill in our country today. I look forward to seeing you next week. Same station. Nigeria right now.
News 24 Extra is taking it up a notch. You can now have news curated to your interest anywhere in the world with real-time notifications. Just go to Google Play Store if you're on Android or Apple Store on iOS. Search News 24 Extra. Download. It's free. It's easy. Now you can catch up with the latest news in politics, entertainment, lifestyle, sports, and much more. So stay connected with News 24 Extra. News at your fingertips.
Tribal mark is the scratching, etching, burning, or cutting designs, pictures, or words into the skin as a permanent body notification or modification.
The practice of tribal marks have been in existence for hundreds of years, and they are not peculiar to Nigeria, not even Africa. During the transatlantic slave trade, tribal identification and facial stripes became important as many repatriated slaves later reunited with their communities by looking at facial stripes.
The major purpose of tribal marks is for identification of a tribe, family, or patrilineal heritage, symbols of beauty, creativity, and keeping of mischievous people alive, which is known as Ila Abiku among the Yoruba tribe of Nigeria.
Yorubas trace the origin of tribal mark to a certain king named Shongo, who sent 2 slaves to a distant country for an important mission. When the slaves returned, Shango the king found that one slave had achieved successfully what he had been sent to do, while the other had accomplished nothing. The king therefore rewarded the first with high honors and ordered the second to receive 122 razor cuts all over his body, which was to serve as a punishment for flaunting the king's assignments.
But when the scars healed, the appearance of the face of the slave was remarkable, which gave the slave a greatly elegant look, which took the fancy of the king's wives.
Shango therefore ordered that cuts should in future be given not as punishment, but as a sign of royalty, and he placed himself at once
Netflix acquires worldwide rights to Genevieve Nnaji's Lionheart. I can't explain this pain, rapper Wale breaks down on Instagram. Rapper Drake and Meek Mill call it truce. Cardi B gets physical with Nicki Minaj at New York Fashion Week party. Hello and welcome to E360, brought to you by MTN. My name is Joy Oche. The weekend was so packed with interesting gist from our celebrities, and our very own Nollywood queen, Genevieve Nnaji, has made us proud again. An online movie streaming platform, Netflix, has announced that it has acquired the worldwide rights for the Nigerian actress's movie, Lionheart.